Hey watch fanatics, this is Ariel Soltura with watchreport.com. Very excited to present to you the Aquadive Bathysphere 500. But before we get started, make sure to like us on Facebook, Instagram, and our forum at watchreport.com/forum. Again, guys, happy to have you for this review of the Bathysphere 500. Now, this is Aquadive's latest and greatest watch, and this review, I think you'll be able to tell exactly why this watch is so awesome and why it's one of the best bangs for your buck that you're going to get in the current watch market. Now, a little about Aquadive. Aquadive was widely used by professional divers in the 60s and 70s. And then, of course, you're going to have that quartz revolution that made a lot of the brands that are now coming back, they made them dormant. Why? Because quartz took over the world. But now people are starting to find that love that they had for automatic watches, and Aquadive again came back to life, mainly because a team of watch experts, divers, engineers, etc. This think tank got together and said, you know what, this brand was so prominent in the 60s and 70s, loved by so many. This was the dive watch to have, and again, I think a lot of us are obviously happy that it was revived, that it had new life, that it now has new life. Now, the cool thing about Aquadive is it still remains true to its roots. It still has a vintage style look to it, but it was able to modernize itself for the customer base of today. Now, the rebirth ushered in the 100, the 300 with its 3,000 meter depth rating, and of course other watches like the NOS 77, which I too will be doing a review of it here, I'd say within the next month or so, depending on when, again, you're looking at this review or taking a look at it. Now, the 500, we'll get into the numbers of it. It's got a 43 millimeter case. The height on it is 11.5. Now, that is a 3.5 millimeter reduction over the 100. Now, the way they were able to do that is that they had a 20% overall reduction as far as they took a little off the bezel, they took a little off the case, they took a little off the case back. So it wears a lot better, and again, better is subjective, but for those that wear suits or sleeves, you're going to say that it wears a lot better than the 300. Way better than it wears better than the 100 and way better than the 300, excuse me, because of the fact it is so very, very thin. It sits really nice on your wrist. Now, the lugs on it are 22 millimeters. All right, so you're going to have your 22 millimeter lugs right there. It's going to come with a 22 millimeter vanilla scented ISO frame. As far as lug to lug, you're looking at 47 millimeters. The movement on it, again, this is the creme de la creme of movements. It is the Vaucher Parmesan Flourier twin barrel in series. Now, yes, that's a mouthful. Don't worry about it. What's important is that you have this movement, because again, this is a movement that is until today not found in watches that were really sub the $5,000, $6,000, maybe $7,000 range. So very lucky that Aquadive was able to secure those movements. They were able to work closely with Vaucher, with again Parmesan and Flourier to bring this movement to light. Now, the movement in it is a very beautifully decorated movement. We'll get into just some of the things that makes it, again, just so beautiful. But there's the display case back. There it is right there. But anywho, we'll talk about the top part first, since it's obviously what everybody sees. The dial on it is a matte black dial. Again, it can change in the light, so sometimes it looks a little bit more gray than others, but very nice dial. So you're going to have obviously your markers. Now, that's something that's been heavily debated. Why? Because Aquadive did go away from the applied markers. I personally have no problem with that. Not that I didn't like the applied markers, but I think to me this simplifies the dial. It declutters it in a way. So I know a lot of times people are kind of stuck on the past, just because that's kind of what they were used to. It's one of their first offerings, but I can tell you that they're definitely still delivering an amazing product. Now, as far as the markers, 3 coats of C3 Super Luminova, so that's what you're getting. What does that offer? A lume so strong that it literally can light up an entire room. So be careful if your wish is to charge it up at night before you go to bed. It definitely is something that could keep you up all night. Now, date window positioned at the 3. It's the same color as the actual dial. Now, the script on it, on my particular model, is a 3-line script. I say my particular model, why? Because of the fact that there's about 4 versions of this watch. Why? Because Aquadive listens to its customers. Every time that there are people out there that have good ideas about a certain rendering that Aquadive put out there, you know what? Aquadive took it down to the drawing board and said, you know what? Let's take a look at it. And if it's a like a general consensus, and of course Aquadive agrees, they revised the watch to meet the wants of the public. Now, I can say that, of course, they can't meet every single demand or they'd go crazy, but it's nice to know that this brand tries so very hard to at least please its customer base. And again, I think with every version, they've gotten a lot better. Not to say that this version isn't amazing. Now, you're going to find that script that I told you about, the Aquadive, the Bathysphere 500. Now, right below the hands, you're going to see that it says Florier. That hasn't been taken off. Another thing that you'll notice that's been taken off on all their versions is that it doesn't say Swiss made anymore. Why? Because this watch is 1/2 German and 1/2 Swiss. The case itself, 43 millimeters, it's a German case. It is CNC cut from a single cylinder of 316L stainless steel. You're going to have your brushed case edges, your polished case edges. Turn it around here. Apologize for the glare. You're going to have your fluted bezel. It is a 120 click bezel. Give it a couple turns there. Lines up perfectly on this particular model. Now, one of the things that Aquadive is known for is its amazing QC, so I am fairly certain that on your model it is very well lined up as well. Now, I mentioned that it is thinner than the 100, and to prove it, ta-da, here's the 100. So again, guys, a 20% reduction. Let me move it a little closer. 20% reduction from the actual 100. Now, again, aesthetically, they're going to look fairly similar as far as the case design, the fluted bezel, whatnot. But you see how the bezel was reduced. Case back on this one is particularly thin, but again, they reduced it. So sapphire on my particular model is flat. Others have reported that the sapphire in theirs is slightly domed. So I think that's pretty nice. As far as the strap, genuine ISO, very comfortable to wear. I say it is the best rubber strap in the dive market. And that's obviously been heavily debated, and I think that ISOFrame continues to come out on top. Law of supply and demand. I can tell you that yes, they're expensive, but they're worth it, and people keep ordering them every single day by the tons. Now, as far as I mentioned in the review that early on we were taught to not judge a book by its cover, and this is exactly why. Because while on the outside it looks aesthetically similar to other Aquadives, it's what's on the inside that counts. Yes, just like we learned in kindergarten. But now, what Aquadive did is they reached out to that Florier, to Vaucher, that builds very, very high-end movements. Now, this movement in it, again, it's the twin barrel. It enables the watch to have a very stable daily rate and longer power reserves, about 60 hours on this guy right here. Now, the movement is beautifully decorated. Now, it's going to have your color contrast engraving. It's going to have your rhodium-plated bridges, Geneva waves. It's going to have your polished screws, etc. So, I mean, what an awesome way to be able to look at your movement. Take off the watch. Again, this is sapphire in the back. Case back is going to have your all your pertinence. Now that's just another way that Aquadive listened to its customers, because originally, if you read some of the forums, you'll notice that they said, no, we're not doing a display case back. Well, as you see, they changed their mind. Why? Because why are you going to hide such a beautiful movement? There's no reason to. Now, if you want to order a case back, just a normal stainless steel case back, they do that too. As far as the movement, this movement, yes, it is the creme de la creme of the movements, but one of the things that Aquadive has been talking about is that they're going to be doing some with ETA to make it more affordable. Now, more affordable doesn't necessarily translate to a better bang for your buck, because this movement is approximately somewhere in the $1,200 range by itself. So you're getting a watch right now for about $3,000 at the movement alone. That's nothing else. That's just saying, hey, give me that movement. You're looking at $1,200 for the movement. So this watch right here is the premier watch under $5,000, because I think I said at the beginning of the review, and if I didn't, I'll say it again. Until today, this movement had not been found in a watch that was anywhere near the $3,000 category. So very, very cool. So again, it's been a pleasure to support this particular brand, because it does uphold the same things that I do on a daily basis as a police officer. You got your integrity, your professionalism, your transparency. They do everything that they can to be as transparent as possible. So again, it's been a real pleasure to really serve this brand for the last 3 or 4 years as a moderator. Now, again, that should not influence this in any way, shape, or form. Take the opinions of those that already have this watch, and I've read a lot about it, and it's a pleasure for people to just say what an amazing watch they have on their wrist, and I couldn't agree more. So, give you a couple more angles of it. I'm going to put it on my wrist, give you a quick wrist shot, and then we'll call this review done. Again, guys, it is a true pleasure that you guys give me the ability to come into your homes, tell you a little bit about this watch passion that we all share. Let me see here. There it is right there. Center it. Look how thin that is. That is awesome. Yeah. Nice thick strap. This watch is everything that I love in a watch. It's nice and chunky. It's got wrist presence like nobody's business. This is so awesome. I took it to a watch get together, and it was really nice. The guy that facilitated it said that the highlight of the actual get together was getting to see this 500. And I can tell you that people just wanted to try it on. They love the way it looked on their wrist, and I can tell you that you're going to love the way it looks on yours as well. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comment box. I'll be more than happy to answer them. You can find me on the forums, have a Facebook page, The Time Cop, and I'll do whatever I can to point you in the right direction. So this is Ariel Soltura, again, signing off. Thanks.